Okay, welcome back. So today we'll discuss about the tetrahedron. Okay, the tetrahedron of 55 size rests on one of its corners, such that anites containing the corner inclined to HP at 50 degrees and to VP at 30 degrees. So a tetrahedron. First, if he has mentioned a tetrahedron, first you should know what is a tetrahedron. What is a tetrahedron? So tetrahedron is nothing but which has a base is equilateral triangle and also other faces also equilateral triangles. In the other pyramids, these slant triangular face is not a equilateral triangle. It is a isosceles triangle in the case of pentagonal pyramid or hexagonal pyramid or triangular pyramid or square pyramid, whatever you take, those are all called as isosceles triangles. The slant triangulars are called as isosceles triangles. Whereas in the case of tetrahedron, even this slant triangular face is also equilateral triangle, base is also equilateral triangle. So it has all four equilateral triangles or four equilateral triangles. So you just have a look at this, how the tetrahedron, this is the equilateral triangle. So it has the base is here, okay. This is one slant equilateral triangle, and then this is also one of the equilateral triangles, slant equilateral. So there are three slant equilateral triangles, and one base is also equilateral triangle. So all the four faces are equilateral triangle in the case of tetrahedron. That we need to know. When compared to the pyramids, hexagonal pyramid, pentagonal pyramid, and square pyramid, all are having the isosceles triangles. All are having the slant triangular faces are called as isosceles triangles. Isosceles triangles. But in the case of tetrahedron, all the four faces, all the four faces are equilateral triangle, all equilateral triangle. And very importantly here, one more very important point here in this case is, in the case of tetrahedron, they never mention the axis height. They never mentions the axis height. So a tetrahedron of 55 sides rests on one of its corners, such that an edge containing that corner is inclined at an angle of HP 50 degrees and VP 30 degrees. But here there is no mentioning of axis here. There is no mentioning of axis here. So in the case of tetrahedron, the axis will not be mentioned. Axis will not be mentioned. So here this is the axis. This is apex. This is the apex, and this is the center of the base equilateral triangle. The center of the base equilateral triangle. Okay, so the line joining the apex and the center of the base equilateral triangle is called as a axis. So here we need to find out the axis height in this case of tetrahedron especially. So how to find out the axis of say, tetrahedron? So we need to follow a certain procedure that we'll discuss here. So what is the tetrahedron size is given? It is 55 So a tetrahedron 55 is equilateral triangle of 55 sides. The base is equilateral triangle. The base is equilateral triangle. So first draw the XY line. Draw the XY line with the thickness of. Then we need to draw the equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle, as it is resting on one of its corner, as it is resting on one of its corners. So it should be a corner should come on the right side of yours. Corner should come on the right side of yours. So 55 into 60 into, you can draw 55 into 120 into 55 into minus 120. So this is the equilateral triangle with the length of 55 With the length of 55 we need to draw. So as he is given that it is resting on one of its corner. Tetrahedron is resting on one of its corner. It has to be rotated such a way that it lies on one of its corners. Okay. So this is moved. The equilateral triangle is drawn. Equilateral triangle is drawn. Then next is we need to find out the center of the base. Center of the base, as you need to draw the perpendicular bisector from the corner to the opposite side. From the corner to the opposite side, a perpendicular bisector is drawn. Once you got the perpendicular bisector, then from the intersection of this perpendicular bisector, we need to join to each corners of the triangle. Corners of the triangle. So remaining you can delete. So this one shows a tetrahedron, top view of the tetrahedron, top view of the tetrahedron. So here we don't know the axis. We don't know the axis height in this case. So take the naming of this A, B, and C, and this is the O. Apex is O, and the bottom base center is O1. O1, which is O1 is not visible. O1 is not visible. That's why I have shown as O1. So O1 is called as axis height. O1 is called as axis height. But axis height is not given in this case. Axis height is not given. We need to find out the axis height. So in order to find out the axis height, please follow the procedure. Okay. So from the O, you need to draw the projections and leave it to a certain length. Next, this OB, if you like, this is the OB slant edge, OC slant edge, and OA slant edge. All three slant edges we can call it as, OAB is equilateral triangle, OBC is equilateral triangle, OAC is also equilateral triangle. So if it is equilateral triangle, OA is equal to AB, AB is equal to OB, AB is equal to OB. So when the line is parallel to the XY line, then the other view of that line, the other view of the other view of that line represents the true length. That other view of that line represents the true length. So from B, project onto the XY line. So here, this is called B dash. This is called B dash, right? So B dash, O dash, what? B dash O dash is nothing but equal to the length of the side of the triangle, right? O dash B dash is nothing but length of the side of the triangle, length of the side of the triangle. So that is equal to triangle. So O dash B dash is equal to B dash A dash, that is equal to A dash O dash. That is equal to A dash O dash. It means that this represents the equilateral triangle. So O dash B dash is equal to the length of, it is equal to the length of original length of the tetrahedron. That is B dash as the center, B dash is the center. So B dash O dash can be obtained by taking the length of 55 mm, by taking the length of 55 mm and draw an arc. And draw an arc. By taking the length of 55 mm, you are going to draw the an arc. So here the intersection point of this. So from this arc to this end point B, then we need to draw the projections once again from here to here, then join to here. So now we got the axis height. Now we got the axis height. You trim the extra lines. You trim the extra line, and then this represents as axis line. Okay. So this is equal to 55 mm, because when the line is parallel to the XY line, the other view of this line, is nothing but O dash B dash. The other view of this line is nothing but O dash B dash. The O dash B dash represents the true length. A line is inclined to HP and parallel to VP. That is nothing but it represents the true length in the front view. That is represented in the front view. So here it is naming is A dash, comma, bin bracket C dash. Then this is going to be O1 dash. O1 dash. Okay. So once you finish this, finish the front view. So choose this front view. Okay, with 0.5 mm thickness. And this is 0.35 mm thickness. Now what is the axis length? So we have found out the axis length is 44.91. The axis length is 44.91. That we need to find out the axis length in the case of tetrahedron. And in the case of cube also. They don't give the axis height. Axis height is equal to the side of the cube. Axis height is equal to side of the cube in the case of cube or hexahedron. But in the case of tetrahedron, we need to follow a procedure to find out the axis height. So how to find out this axis height is nothing but by keeping any slant edge is parallel or not. You need to check out first, is there any slant edge? Is there any slant edge of the tetrahedron is parallel to the XY line or not? So here the OB slant edge is parallel to the XY line. So from that corner of the equilateral triangle, we need to project upward to meet the XY line. Then that as the center, and with the base side as the radius, cut the axis line, so that we'll get the axis height. So this is how we need to proceed proceed in the case of tetrahedron, right? So next, second question. So initial question is very important here. So how to obtain the axis height is very important, that we need to check out. Okay, right. Second one, the second question, how to draw, because he has not given any axis inclination with HP, but he has given that the edge containing the corner, edge containing that corner, which corner? Resting corner. The edge, here the edge is nothing but here vertical edge. The edge containing that corner is inclined at an angle of 50 degrees. He is inclined at an angle of 50 degrees to HP. So edge means vertical edge which is containing that corner is vertical edge containing this corner. It is resting on B dash. It is resting on B dash. So the vertical edge containing this corner is O dash B dash. So this is inclined at an angle of 50 degrees. This is inclined at an angle of 50 degrees. So what we do is we need to draw, move with copy by picking this B dash on the reference line XY. Then we need to rotate in such a way that rotate this line, okay, this line. Here this line should be, how much it should be? It is a 50 degrees. It should be 50 degrees. So you need to draw 50 degrees in the sense here. This is the reference line which is taken as 125. Okay, we'll go with the rotation of drawing 50 degrees line. Okay, drawing 50 degrees line on this. Okay, anywhere on this, by taking this end point, draw 50 degrees. Okay, so this is on the 50 degrees line. So on this 50 degrees line we can rotate such a way that this should come on this. Okay, so now you can remove this construction line, right? So now you measure the angle between this and this. It should be 50. It should be 50 degrees. So now draw the projection of top view by drawing the vertical projection and the horizontal projection. So naming is missed out. So we can take this as the A dash C dash, A dash comma C dash. Then this is going to be O1 dash, and this is going to be B dash and O dash. So now we need to draw projections. We need to draw projections, vertical projection and horizontal projection from each corner of the base. So by drawing, this is going to be A and C. So this is C and this is A. Next B comes here. Then O dash comes on the same line. Next is O1 dash. O1 dash and O comes on the same line. Okay. So now horizontal projection. So this represents the A dash, sorry, C dash. Then this represents the A dash, A and A dash line intersection point. Then this represents the O1. Then okay. Now every time we see, it's same kind of procedure which I am following here. So first we need to naming, that is C. This is A. Then this is B. And this is O. And this is O1. Okay, O1. So after naming, as I told you that it should be drawn with the outer view. So outer view should be drawn first, starting from A. So join to O, then O to C, then C to A. So this shows the outer view of this tetrahedron. So base is visible or not for him? While viewing from the top of this particular object, the observer is viewing from the top of this object. The base is not visible to him. The base is not visible to him. So whereas in this case, the base is facing towards the observer, so the base is visible in this case. But here, if they look at this, the base is a little bit inclined in this direction, so observers cannot see the base. So the base should be drawn as dotted line. The base should be drawn as dotted line. So A to B is drawn as a dotted line. Then B to C should be drawn as a dotted line, and C to A is already came in the outer view, so no need to draw the dotted line. And one more very importantly here, B, what OB edge we need to draw. OB edge we need to draw. So here, while viewing from the top, OB is which covers this particular entire surface. The top triangular surface is covers. So OB is not visible to him. OB is not visible to him. So OB should be drawn as a dotted line in this case. OB should be drawn as a dotted line in this case. Okay. So next axis line, of course, from here to here. 0.35 axis line from here to here on, because the dotted line coincides with that. So just to show the axis line up to that point. Okay. Next is next what is given, the edge which is inclined, that is edge containing that corner, which is inclined to HP, at 50 degrees. The same edge is given. It means that it's not appears to be edge. So same edge is given which is inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. Same edge is nothing but what we need to take the OB edge. We need to take the OB edge. So when you look at this OB length, which is actual OB length is 55 mm. But here this is the actual apparent length of the OB edge. So it means that he has given the true inclination, that is edge is inclined to VP at 30 degrees. He has given that edge is inclined at an angle of VP, at an angle of 30 degrees to VP. Means this is the true inclination is given. So we need to find out the beta angle in this case. The procedure is to be followed. So beta angle procedure, which we already studied in the projection of plane. Similar way here, what is the 30 degrees to be shown first? So minus 150. So 30 degrees. Okay. This is the 30 degrees line. Should be construction line. So it is a continuous thin line. And in this, okay. So this is a 30 degrees inclination. 30 degrees inclination is given. So measure the angle between this and this. It is 30 degrees. So this original length of this edge, is inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. So we need to take the arc by center point. So this has the center. 55 mm as the radius. Okay, 55 mm as the radius. Draw an arc to get the locus. To draw the locus, then we know that the length of this apparent length of the edge, is this much. So which is 35.35. So you can make it, this okay. So here this 35.35 is the radius. Same center, 35.35 is the radius. Draw an arc to cut this locus line. So 35.35 is the radius. Enter the radius and then cut this locus line and get the intersection point and join to that. So this is the appears to be edge is inclined at an angle of, so that is the beta angle which we need to find out. So use the extend to next command and find out the angle between. So we are going to get the beta angle from here and from this. So this is the beta angle which you are going to get. The angle between this and this. How much? This 51 degrees. Is 51 degrees. So that is the beta angle. That is the beta angle which you need to calculate. So now you can move this, move with copy, move with copy, such a way that this edge, one of the edge that is O, will coincide with this center. Then rotate, rotate in such a way that this will come on the, this will come on the beta angle. So that's how you need to draw. That's how you need to draw. So now we need to get the front view by projecting the vertical projection and horizontal projection. Vertical projection and horizontal projection. So draw from each corner of the base. That is C. C is here. Okay. Then B, A. From O, then O dash. O dash is here. Then B. B is lying on XY line. B is lying on XY line. B is lying on XY line. Now join. So first naming it. Naming it. Okay. This is going to be C dash. And this is going to be B dash. This is A dash. And this is O dash. And O1 dash, of course. O1 dash. From the O1 dash, draw the, from O1 draw the projection, and from O1 dash also you can draw the vertical projection. So this is O and O1 dash, both will intersect at this point. Okay, so this is C and A projection, and this is O dash projection and O projection, both intersect at this point. Next, what you need to do is you need to draw the boundary view. You need to draw the boundary view. So boundary view should be drawn. Boundary view should be drawn. That is starting from C dash. Starting from C dash, you can go with the B dash, and then to O dash, then to E dash, then to C dash. So this is the outer view of this tetrahedron. Next, the base. The base is ABC here. The base is ABC. The base is towards the observer. The observer is here now. While viewing from the front face of the observer, front face of the object, the observer can see the base. The observer can see the base. So the base is visible. So the base is visible in sense the base which can be drawn as A to B, B to C, C to A. So A to B, this one, A to B is this one, so drawn as thick, and B to C is drawn as thick. Okay, so that is the base is visible. Now the slant edges. So in order to join the slant edges, O dash A dash to be joined, O dash B dash to be joined, and O dash C dash to be joined. But O dash B dash and O dash A dash is already joined, but O dash C dash is not joined. O dash C dash is not joined. So O dash C dash, if you look at here, the observer cannot see the O dash C dash because it is away from the observer. So O dash C dash is not visible to the observer. So that is drawn as dotted line. That is drawn as dotted line. So from this point to here is a dotted line. This is represented as a dotted line. Now the axis line with a 0.35 mm thickness, axis line representation, then from O dash to O1 dash. So this is how we finish the tetrahedron. So in the tetrahedron, only the problem is finding the axis side. So how to find out the axis side, which you have already discussed in the beginning of this problem. Okay, so we'll go to the next sum. So problem number 47. Okay, right. So hexahedron. So here in the previous sum which we discussed about the tetrahedron, now we are discussing about the hexahedron. So hexahedron of 30 mm sides, hexahedron of 30 mm sides resting on one of its corners, resting on one of its corners on HP. such that one of its solid diagonal is perpendicular to VP. Solid diagonal. So here the solid diagonal and phase diagonals. Phase diagonals are different. Solid diagonals are different. Okay. Solid diagonal is perpendicular to VP. Draw the projections of the solid. So before going to solve this problem, we have to know what is a tetrahedron. What is a tetrahedron? So if you see this, yeah, this is a tetrahedron. Sorry, hexahedron. This is called as a hexahedron, which all the six faces here. This cube is found by these six faces. The cube is found by these six faces. That is four lateral faces and one top base and the one bottom base. So these are the six faces which are equal in shape and size. So those are called as squares. Those are called as squares. So in a cube or a hexahedron, all the six faces are equal and they are squares and they are squares. So if you look at here, so these are the six faces which are formed in the hexahedron. This is called as hexahedron or cube. This is called as hexahedron or cube. It has another name, cube or hexahedron. Okay. So in this case, all this face, this vertical face and this vertical face, the top base and the bottom base, and all these four vertical faces, all are squares only. So while viewing from the top, it looks like a square only. While viewing from the front side of this object, it also looks like a square only. So front view and top view of this cube is always square. But of course, if it is equal inclined, I mean, based on the resting condition, it is, we can say that it is square in the front view and top view. Front view and top view. And here in this problem, now you got it. What is a cube? Once you got to know what is a cube, then we go to the problem. So in this problem, a hexahedron of 30 sides is resting on one of its corners. So cube is resting on one of its corners. So first we need to draw the square such a way that corner should come on right side. So corner should come on right side. So start with this initial position of the solid. Start with this initial position of the solid. Draw the XY line. Draw the XY line. And then go to the rectangle command. In the rectangle command, width and height can be given because the cube size is given as hexahedron size is given as 30 side. 30 side. So width is 30 and height is also 30 if you give. And as it is resting on corner, so if you give the 30 30 and 0 angle, 30 30 and 0 angle, we cannot get the required orientation of the square. So because it is resting on corner has to come on the right side. So if we give the angle as 45 degrees, with height and angle, then we'll get this kind of shape. Okay, which shows a cube which is resting on corner. Okay. So now once you draw this one, the center of this to be identified by drawing center of this, by drawing the joining the opposite corners, then we get the center of the top base and the bottom base. So naming A, B. So here is very important. It has two bases, right? So I can give as naming as A comma A1. A1 is not visible. So I can show in brackets. Then B, B1, B comma B1. Then C, C1, C comma C1. C1 is not visible, right? C1 is not visible. So that's shown as in bracket. Similarly, D, top base I have given as A, B, C, D, and the bottom base I have given as A1, B1, C1, D1, and the top base center is O, and bottom base center as O1. So once you draw all this, naming is done. So now you just tell me what is a body diagonal, what is a phase diagonal. So body diagonal, phase diagonal in the sense which I have as in the shown here. If you look at this, So in this cube, see, this has one square, right? So this is one face diagonal face. This is one more face. This face has four corners, right? So if I join opposite corners of this face, then it's called as face diagonal. If I join opposite corners of this face, if I join opposite corners of this face, then it's called as a face diagonal. If I join in the cube, say for example, this is the top leftmost corner and top rightmost bottom corner. And sorry, bottommost right corner, bottommost right corner. So if I join to this corner and this corner, then it is called as a body diagonal. Then it is called as a body diagonal. So face diagonal is nothing but in the face there are four corners. Each opposite corners, if I join, then the diagonal formed as called as face diagonal. Whereas in the case of if I join this top leftmost corner, bottom rightmost corner, in this if I join, in this means, so this is one square face and this is one more square face, and opposite corners diagonally, opposite corners in a room, diagonally opposite corners in a room, if I join, then it's called as a body diagonal. So you should know this body diagonal is inclined at 90 degrees to vertical plane. So first we need to keep this body diagonal as horizontal. So that's why I have taken the body diagonal A and C1. A and C1, because A is the top leftmost corner and C1 is the bottom rightmost corner. So AC1 will become the body diagonal. AC1 will become the body diagonal. So now draw the front view. Draw the front view. Draw the front view. And axis. What is axis head here in this case? In the cube, no need to follow the procedure. We know that equal to the side of the square, that is 30. That is the 30. Side of the square, that is 30. So finish of this front view by drawing the 30, 30. Okay. So this is the front view of your cube. Front view of your cube. Naming. If you take the naming of this is going to be A dash top surface, and this is A1 dash. This is A1 dash, and this is B1 dash, comma D1 dash. D1 dash is not visible, so drawn as represented in bracket. Similarly, this is C1 dash. So this is C dash, and this is B dash D dash. So B dash is visible and D dash is not visible. D dash is not visible, right? So now O1 is coincident with the B dash D dash and B1 dash D1 dash. Okay, so no need to represent. Then what is the next condition is given in the problem? That he has given that resting on one of its corners, and this one of the solid diagonal is perpendicular to VP. One of the solid diagonal is perpendicular to VP. So in this solid diagonal which I have taken is now is this A dash and C1 dash. I have taken as A dash and C1 dash. A dash and C1 dash. So this is the diagonal which I have taken as a body diagonal. A and bottom one is C1. So this is called as body diagonal. Body diagonals. So if you just imagine that in a particular room, opposite top corner and bottom opposite corner. So then if I join, that is called as a body diagonal. That is called as a body diagonal. So this body diagonal has to be made perpendicular to the problem. What is given? Made perpendicular to VP. Made perpendicular to one of the solid diagonals is perpendicular to VP. So in the second position, first I make it as parallel. First I'll make it as parallel. So in order to make parallel, so this line has to be moved. So here it is has to be moved. Move with copy. Move with copy. Okay. On this, then rotate. Then rotate such a way that this diagonal line is parallel. So once you rotate, this is parallel, but it has to rest on one of its corners, right? Rest on one of its corners. So it is resting on, say for example, A1. It is resting on A1 dash, this corner. 1 dash he has taken. 1 dash is resting on 1 dash. So now this has to be moved. This has to be moved such a way that this point should come on XY line. This point should come on XY line. Okay, now see, it is this body diagonal is parallel to xy line. This body diagonal is parallel to xy line now. Now it is parallel to xy line. Now draw the top view by projecting from each corner of the base. So this is a dash and a1 a1, then b dash, b dash comes here, and then this is going to be d, b and d, this is going to be b dash and b. Okay, so this is going to be b, right? So similarly, d comes here, d comes here. Okay, then c dash, right? Next, bottom base corners. So a1 and b1, d1, and then c1. Okay, c dash, c1 dash comes here. Okay, c1 dash comes here. Okay, next, from horizontal projection. So this is a dash, a. So from a, it's going to intersect at this point. Then one more is a1. A1 is intersecting at this point. A1 is intersecting at this point, and then C1 is intersecting at this point. So join to this and then to this. Next, D dash, D dash and D. So D dash and D. D is here and D1